Hey guys, welcome to YRR Help, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your Spring MVC project using Spring Boot. And I'm working on my Eclipse IDE here, and as a prerequisite you also need Java 1.8 because we are working on Spring 5 at this time, so you need Java 1.8, and also make sure that Eclipse has a Maven plugin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to a site called start.spring.io. So I have provided link in the description. So what it does is that it's going to give you with the default artifacts like the default dependencies and a sample stub. And so at this point of time I have Spring Boot version as 2.1.2. If you have latest version, you can go with it, and just give your Maven group ID. I'm just going to give as YRR help, and artifact ID I'm going to give as demo application. So I'm just going to give as web because we are working on web MVC now, so this is the only thing you need as of now. So just click on generate project. I think I've already downloaded here. I'm just going to go to my Eclipse. I'm going to quickly import that project. Just click on open projects from the file system and browse to your directory. So just click on the demo application which we have downloaded now. Select folder, just click on finish. So that's it, you have the basic Spring MVC application now, and you can straight away just go and start the server, or so you can go to demo application and you can just click on run as Java application. So the thing is that Spring Boot will give you a default container. So as you can see here, Tomcat server started on 8080 port, and so if you go to your local host at 8080, all right, this is nice. You can see that at least your applications, your container is started now, and this is because we don't have any home page or a default landing page. So we're just going to quickly create that in a moment. So the next thing I want to show you is that you can just go to pom.xml, and here you can see what are the dependencies provided by Spring Boot. So currently you have only Spring Starter Web, but if you go to dependency hierarchy, you can see that there are so many dependencies here. So the one thing is that is if you see the packaging here, so by default it's a jar packaging, and if you're okay with the default container, you're good to go with the jar. But if you want to deploy your application in a separate container or in a separate application server, so then it better that you go with the var. Now the thing is that by default the Spring Boot is not providing JSP support. So if you want to have JSPs in your web application, so then you need to have one more dependency here. It's very straightforward. So I've added one dependency here. You can just see the text in the description. All right, now scope I'm just going to give as provided. All right, so I'm just going to click on OK. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly create a controller here. So I'm going to create a new package for that. I'm going to call it as controllers. So this is where I'll be placing all my controllers, and inside that I'm going to create a class, and I'm going to name it as home controller. Right, so this is just my Java class, and in order to make it as a controller, you just have to add an annotation as controller. So again, the controller is just a Spring component with some additional features. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add one method here, public string, right? I'm gonna say show home page. Right, now I'm just gonna put one print statement here. Oops. And in home page. Right, next thing is I need to map an URI or the URL to the respective controller. So let's say for example, if I want to map this home URL to the respective controller, so I just have to say it as get mapping, right? And I just have to give whatever the mapping which I need. Suppose if I want to map to the root URL, I can just say /. So that means when I try to access this route, it will go to this particular method. And if you see here, I've said as get mapping, so it only works for HTTP get method, and if you're trying to access post method, it won't work. So this is all about get mapping. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly run my application server. I'm just going to reload this again. Now it doesn't make any sense because we are not adding any views here. So but as you can see here, it's not loading, it's not printing the line. All right, that's because we have added a controller, but we have to tell to Spring to component scan particular components. So by default, what happens is that it does scan for particular components, but it will scan only in your respective package. It won't go out of the packages. It's not going to scan entire application. So what we have to do is we just have to add another annotation here, component scan, and we have to specify the packages. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give as com.star. So by this way, what happens is that Spring will try to scan for controllers or components or any other things inside the com.star package. Spelling mistake. Right. Now I'm just going to quickly restart my server. All right. Now let me just check again. Reload. It's good. We are getting something here. But the thing which we are interested is in home page. Right. Is that means it's hitting our controller now. So but we have some null pointer issues because we are returning null here. So what exactly we are returning is that we are returning a view page. Suppose if you want to return suppose something like this, home.jsp. So if you want to return this, then you're gonna return something like this, home. Right. Now this is your view name typically in Spring World, and there's one more tweak you have to do. This it's called view resolver. So what you have to do is you just have to go to application or properties. So and you have to tell where your views are located by specifying some kind of property. So again, you can copy paste from the description of this video. And so what exactly we are trying to do is we're just specifying a prefix. Basically we are telling the folder name. Basically we are specifying a folder name where our views are located, and we're specifying a suffix here. So by default we are saying a suffix as .jsp, so that means we are telling all our views on JSPs. So what exactly happens is that now when I'm returning a view as home, it's gonna go to web /JSP, and it will search for home.jsp. Now the thing is that you need to have this particular folder inside a web app folder. So you have to go to source main, and you have to create a default folder basically, which is web app. So this is just the JTV stuff, and inside that you have to place like this WEB-INF. So this is your folder structure, and make sure that this folder, web app folder, is exactly inside source main. Right. So you can have a look at this folder structure for a clear idea. So now what happens is that Spring will look inside this JSP folder. So I'm going to quickly create a JSP file. Right. And I'm going to name it as home, which is exactly what we are returning in our home controller. So I'm just going to click as next, finish. So just right, title is YRR help. So I'm just going to say welcome to YRR help. It's very good to go. Right, I'm just going to start my server. Now I'm hoping that I should get some view here. Oops, sorry. Wow, it's very nice. Now I have a home page. This is all about integrating or setting up your Spring MVC framework here. So I'm just going to quickly recap everything. So first we have downloaded default setup from Spring Initializer, and we have made some changes to pom.xml, which is nothing but changing package to var, and we have added one more dependency to add on JSP support. And the next thing is that we have added component scan here, and we also created a new controller with the annotation as controller, and we have added a get mapping to the root folder. And if you want, you can change to something like this slash home. You can do whatever you want. And the next thing is that we are returning a home as a view name. And the next thing is we have added the default settings, default prefix and suffix stuff. And in my next video, I'm just going to create a simple form here, like a registration form, and I'm going to take all the inputs, and I'm going to collect all the inputs in my controller, and I'm going to redirect to another page. So thanks for viewing, guys. Don't forget to subscribe us if you like my video. Thank you again.